Bro, listen, the way that intro be hitting though. Like if you don't got the good headphones, I don't know how to help you. But if you got the good headphones, bro, it be thumping. Welcome.
It be lit.
Welcome.
Hey y'all.
Hi everybody.
What's
It is
up?
another Wednesday. We have made it. And we are glad to be here. Welcome to Black Girls HyperFocus, the show where me and Zay, two hyper-focused Black girls, just go ahead and take some different topics and get in where you fit in, man. And we have a special guest today. If you don't know Zay is actually a part of our crew. Already been, this is a day one, down like 4 flats. Zay, how you be? I'm glad you made it. How are you today?
I am here in all of my neurodiverse glory.
Listen,
I hear that.
Am only 85% dressed.
We'll take it.
I
We'll take
mean,
it.
It's the
We
part that
don't know
needs to
that.
be seen. So
No,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
I'm
We
like,
don't know that.
and not even in like oh zoom my retinas away, but like I only have one shoe on kind of way, and
Listen,
half of
that.
my headband kind of
Good
way.
job. Well, you just keep
So,
getting dressed, and while you get
hmm
dressed, we're gonna go ahead and start the show by just introducing the host, and then of course we'll go ahead and shout you out special. You know, Zay, because you are a special guest, so we gotta make
please
sure we
take your
set you up
time.
right. Take your time, Pastor.
oh,
Take your time. Right.
oh man,
Awesome. So, Ricky, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? Let's
I think I
introduce
might.
yourself. Your name is.
So my name is Rickey, also known as Rickey Z. I am a podcast manager, social media manager, as well as a teacher.
Woo.
I feel like I always say I'm a mom too because I feel like that's a job. I
You
can't help
know,
it.
anal
It's,
need
it
to
is
get
a
paid.
job.
Low key. Listen.
But
To the powers that be. Make that happen for real. Listen.
stop it. Okay, so my neurodiversities are ADHD, anxiety, and depression. I was diagnosed with ADHD officially when I was 30, about about
Sweet.
to be 4 years ago. My birthday's in September. It's been 4 years now.
Okay.
Golly.
Better late
Um,
than never. We in there.
hey,
Hey.
it's about time. So what
For
makes
real.
me a dope, I mean, fuel black girl is, because you have to have some energy and some dopamine to have kids, to deal with kids.
That part.
Um, my own kids, but also I'm a teacher, so I teach pre-K special education.
Mm.
So that takes a lot of effort and motivation as well.
Little extra pizzazz, you
But
know.
I'm on summer
That's-
break, so I don't need all that.
Hey, that's what I'm
I,
talking about.
I can
Easing it
refocus
out.
my dopamine somewhere else.
Right. That part. And you have look
I
been going
have been.
on cruises and out here doing the things, honey. Out here
Look,
doing the things, right?
I've lived my somewhat best life, honestly, for the last week or
Listen,
so.
that not somewhat. I'm dead. It was only somewhat thing. Like, okay,
Like my so-called life,
well,
my
Because
somewhat best
it
life.
was somewhat because I had to come back. Dang.
true. That's true.
True,
It
true.
had to end.
My
So
temporary best life.
My
right,
temporary, but no, because so when you're going on
I got a
cruises, it's
glimpse.
like it was like all you can eat, all you can drink,
Mm,
lay by the
sweet.
pool, get in the sun,
Right,
and then like I get back and I'm like I feel like I got a detox
right.
because I gotta get back.
Honestly, that sounds like a neurodivergent dream. Like legit, you don't gotta clean nothing. You don't gotta worry about it. You just show up, the food there. Like,
Right.
Lord have mercy. Won't he do it? I would live in a
Look.
spot that was just like make us like largely have like a cruise experience, but on like
Mhm,
Earth. Just
mhm.
like over
We need a
here
meal
on the
plan for adulthood. It's so
okay.
much
Look.
work to feed yourself. Like, let me go
It is
somewhere, swipe my card, have a range of
legit.
options, or let me get the same thing every single day like I want to.
Legit.
Right. No, so this is the first time we took the kids. So it's me and my ex. We took the kids on a family vacation, and it was the first time we went on a cruise with the kids. We'd always said like we would never take the kids on a cruise until like our youngest was like a teenager.
Mm.
Just simply because like, children on boats.
I don't know that teenagers on boats are any better. I'll
you
just put that
know,
out there, but I got you.
I think they have like they have a little bit more a better sense of danger.
True. True.
Possibly,
I'm
maybe
about to
that's
say
debatable.
maybe. I was
Debatable.
just about to say because if you neurodivergent, you already know that impulse control is something
Look,
else.
so
Be out here
so
just doing stuff.
and it's the only thing was like because you're on the boat, so there's really like no internet. So like the having to wait to keep in contact with my 9-year-old who wants to go. She
Right.
easily makes friends. So like she wants to go. There's a water slide. Wants to go
She
hang out
wants
with
to
her
talk to
friends on the water
everybody.
slide. And I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta know where you are though.
Right.
If I go there, you need to be there.
Correct.
that
Correct.
that type of stuff.
I need to
And
know.
then,
You need like walkie talkies. That's what it sounds
hmm
like. So y'all can keep up. Listen.
but surprisingly enough, like it wasn't that big of an issue.
Hmm.
The kids pretty much ate whatever they wanted. They had chicken nuggets and pizza, and they might try
Ooh,
something
yeah.
new, but whatever. They didn't
Might
have to.
not.
Right.
They
Come
didn't have
on
to.
now.
Look,
That's what I'm talking about. The
look,
dream.
and it's totally fine. They could have ice cream. They could get
Dude.
dessert, and
Right.
then an occasional slushie and all the sodas that they wanted. And
All the jazz.
look,
Because you could just crash. You don't gotta worry about trashing your house and you having to clean it up after. But that's really what it boils down
exactly.
to. Like
That
I
is it.
would give my kids these things. However,
However,
who
that
gonna
costs.
clean up the mess when we don't? Like, I'm legit trying to survive on some regular shit. I
Like
can't
it
deal
was,
with
I realized there was like literally not a trash can in sight
right.
on the cruise. Like
That's
they
crazy.
just you leave it somewhere and they just
Right.
didn't
It
pick it
just
up. And I'm like,
disappears.
like I
What?
hate.
Like
I
magic.
promise you, I would look for a trash can. Like it'd be hard to find one.
I
You
need
just
that.
like
Search
That
dog.
sounds like a conspiracy.
Right.
Like
but
we
like
found
you
a
know,
colony of Oompa Loompas who are like,
but
Right.
like
In
you
the
know they
background.
took the trash
Pop
out
out.
somewhere. But like I promise you, I rarely saw a trash can. Like, but I could see them checking out trash bags and
Yeah.
putting the trash somewhere. But like
They
I
was
don't know.
putting it.
I guess
But
it's because like if you leave like your plates or things like that wherever, like someone's gonna come and pick it up and take it up for you. And I'm like,
true.
that's cool, but I don't mind putting my trash in a trash can, y'all.
But I also
Like
don't mind
I
them picking it up. I will not.
I
I will
mean
not fight against that. I'm
I
just
mean
saying. Listen, that
I'm just
would
saying,
not be bad.
yeah.
Honestly, like that's the kind of technology I'm largely wanting to see come up. Like, let's get some automated trash picker uppers and things. Like they
Mhm.
already got the vacuum that already be like around your house doing its own thing. Like I got it. Don't even worry about it. I need that mug too for real. I got
Wait.
dog hair everywhere because this dog. Shoot, I can't. Drives me nuts.
like
yeah.
of all the things I'm most disappointed about, it's the fact that we don't have Rosie's yet.
What
Like I
is a
definitely thought I would
Rosie?
have one.
Oh, from the Jetsons.
Yes, literally.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
Wheel
Look,
I
around.
but the thing is, like,
understand.
we're like literally nowhere near the Jetsons. Like,
Right.
aren't we supposed to be in the time
No,
of
we
the
don't
Jetsons right
even
now?
have the
Whole nother-
shoes.
No,
What
That's
happened
hard.
to the shoes?
we
None of
ain't
that.
even there.
We're not even there.
Not the shoes.
We
The
ain't even
Well,
there.
look, before we get off way left, because look, we already in the hyper
Go ahead and
focus mode.
introduce
Y'all
yourself,
can't tell. Y'all can't tell. Look, we ready. Okay, tonight. Shoot. My name is Tara G, also known as Tara G Noire. I am a neurodivergent and Black creator and advocate. And I am working on a podcast called ADHD Black that helps to tell our stories from our perspective and help more people gain access to the care that they deserve, as well as, just being able to talk about these things without the stereotypes and stigmas because they dumb and they get in the way. So, my neurodiversities, I do have ADHD. I also have anxiety and depression. And I was diagnosed with with this trio when I was 32 last year in October of all things, right? So this just happened. But what I think makes me a dopamine fueled Black girl is the fact that like I am using my experiences to help navigate where I go in the future and to help more people. And that really means a lot to me. So I am excited to be able to get this show going. And we have a dope special guest today, Zay. Also, that's what we call you, Zay. But do you want to like introduce yourself, or would you like us to give you like like? Do you want me to do the before the pastor preach situation? Which one are we doing here?
You can go.
All right. Well, our next speaker needs no introduction, but I shall give it anyway.
There you go.
All good. No, so Zay Apollo is 30. We'll be 31 in August. Come on now. Birthday
You literally
coming up.
don't have to read all of that.
I realized that. I was picking and choosing. You put it. That's what you get. This is what you get. And now the people will know.
Too late.
Well, I think in outline, so I'm just like,
oh no, we went in, and so here we are. Zay also has several pronouns that they like to list from most favorite to least favorite. I thought that was interesting. I was like, I've never really heard anybody say it in that way, but I like that. So most favorite is he. They is we I. But you better know who she is before you say she. Or he is before you say she. That's what we saying. So like don't hit that one. Unless you lapse in memory. It happens. You're located out in Los Angeles. And your vocation, you would like to be an attorney, or you wanted to be an attorney, excuse me, from the 5th grade until the day that you had to choose a major, and then you chose musicology. Come on now.
Wow.
Musicology.
That's a strange combination that we have here.
Right? Went real okay. I can see it though, because at the same time, I feel like all of that resonates with me in some way.
Right.
But in various ways, right? In different ways. So very interesting. But now Zay is aiming to be a psychologist if the nukes stay still and COVID does not rise. We could just chill out and make it, then we'll be all right.
Mm.
Let's do
And
that.
am I reading this right? Your why as to why you want to do all of this is because you grew up Black and neurodivergent, but only was diagnosed since college and would like Black kids to grow up able to understand and be fully included in the world and in their communities so we can hurry up and get out of here. So, and get on the living, get on to the good part.
Correct.
So your neurodivergencies are, or neurodiversities. I don't know why I was like neurodivergency. I feel like either one might work. I don't know.
I
But here
think
we are.
yours is actually the grammatically
Neurodivergencies.
correct
Yeah.
one.
All good.
Neurodivergencies.
Yes. ADHD, ASD, which is autism spectrum
Disorder.
OCD, which means
Obsessive
see, I don't
compulsive
I'm
disorder.
gonna need you to put these out here, okay?
Well, listen. I was typing under duress, so you got the shorthand.
And CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, which we kind of were talking about a little bit in some of our past episodes, but we will probably touch on that a little bit too. Also have some dyslexia in there, got some dyscalculia, got some dysgraphia. We got all types of good stuff in here. Auditory processing disorder, MDD, anxiety, all the things, honey. You came
I'm
with
gonna
all
get
the
myself a
things,
punch
sir.
card. Honestly.
Listen, right, and just be like, this is what it is. Deal with
That's at least worth one tank of gas or something.
Dang. Yeah.
So if you guys would go ahead and welcome our friend Zay Apollo. Welcome so much to the show. I know you already
up,
look.
Zay?
If you don't feel welcome, I don't know what to tell you because we have definitely let you in here. Well, we welcome you once, we welcome you twice.
I
welcome you in the neighborhood.
So we're glad to have Zay on here. So like Tara said, that Zay is actually a part of our crew for ADHD and Black. Does a lot of our tech stuff. The techiest of tech things. I do a little tech, but he does the techiest of tech.
Right. You got it going and has hooked us up with so many different great resources when it comes to that. And I know from our conversations that you have a real heart for wanting to help neurodivergent people who would like to have businesses and do their thing, but just need some help and getting that together. So I know long term that's in the future, but you want to be able to offer some resources to them as well. So before we get into our discussion today and kind of talk about gender and ADHD and how those two kind of overlap. We want to go ahead and give our listeners a rundown of the show. And so this is going to be just a quick little, just housekeeping stuff. We got to get it out the way and then we could jump right into the goods. So,
yes. So just let you know, this is a live stream, meaning that we are recording this live right now in real time. And just to give y'all a heads up, this show is not intended for anybody that's under the age of 16. So put the babies to bed or let them watch some Bluey or some Paw Patrol. I don't know. My kids watch Tim Burton films. I don't know. They don't. Right. They're not the same.
Not the same.
Not the same.
And we do curse. We do curse. I know y'all done heard a couple little drops here and there, but just
we do cuss a little.
We do cuss a little, but we do use the full English language. And so as long as you can critically think, I think you should be able to hang. So
Buck is definitely my favorite as well.
Yeah. Wonderful. And so we want you guys to be involved. Be sure that you log into Twitch or YouTube or Facebook. Those are the three places that we are streaming. Are we also streaming on Twitter today or not?
No, I think we are just on Facebook and Twitch, unless you're doing IG. But
I'm not doing IG.
All right. So, but also remember that we will be posting this episode on YouTube by tomorrow.
Yes. So if you need to run this back or find some good little nuggets in there that you want to go ahead and run back, this is that will be the place to go ahead and do it. Unfortunately, with IG, they just have some little strict rules, them and TikTok actually, that make it difficult for us to be able to stream on all those platforms at the same time. But the more that we get support and the more that we get you guys, listening in and being a part, that gives us the ability to kind of expand and be able to reach more audiences. So for sure, it's all good.
All right. So how this show will go is that we will start by getting hype, then hyper, and finish off strong in a hyper focus. And so
Yeah.
since we have a guest today, we'll be starting by throwing Zay a few hype questions. They're easy questions.
Yes.
Then we'll crank it up a notch with some more hyper questions.
Yes.
And then Zay will finish us off with a hyper focus rant on whatever topic
You
Zay
I like
choose.
this.
Your choice.
I like
Yeah.
this.
See, look, we take care of our guests, honey. We take care of our
Right,
guests,
right.
indeed. So also keep an eye out for our Rickey rants and Tara tangents, and I'm gonna say Zay Zeal because I don't know what else. I was
This
really thinking about that junk yesterday. I was like,
there's
what's
very
it
little.
called?
I've been thinking for a while. I do not. The one thing I do
Apollo
not think about.
agitations. Okay, there we go. We'll go with the last name.
There we
Apollo
go.
agitations. You know,
Thank you. Thank you.
consider those bonus content that's
It
just
took
kind
me
of
a lifetime of figuring that out.
right. I was like, Z, what is that's hard.
So
But
I'm like,
yeah,
it's only like 6 words that start with Z in the whole English
right.
language.
Not helpful
Like,
already. Setting the precedence. So, but either way, you guys, that literally was like a little mini one right there. So basically, what it is just us to say thank you for your support and to share some of our random thoughts that we've accumulated from the various rabbit holes of knowledge that we have found ourselves in over the years from being both undiagnosed and diagnosed with mental differences. So, just say thank you.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm. Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. So just so you know, it's just your show as well. So let us know what you want to do, what some topics you want us to talk about. We're gonna keep it real with you, Black and neurodivergent, talk about mental health, and we want to discuss the topics that are most important to you.
Yes.
So at the end of today's show, we'll summarize the top themes and give you all the deets to get and stay in touch with us, and your favorite neurodivergent Black girls that
Black
hope
girl.
hyper-focus on all the things.
That's right. And if we're not your favorite, we will be. We're working on
Right.
it. We will be. That is our mission, okay?
Mhm.
To be your
Oh.
favorites. I'm just kidding. It's not our mission. But it sounds good when I say it. So there's that. But we do want to be able to connect with you guys and just to have like a really good community of people that are neurodivergent and proud and able to show up in spaces and not have to prove their worth, but actually just be their magical Black self. So look,
Yep.
come on through. All good. So today we are going to be focusing on come on, Patrick, you better get it. Oh, it crossed out Zay. Oh, that was you, Zay. That was It was Zay doing the hitting it. ADHD across the gender spectrum. And we today are sorry, what's gender got to do with it, part 2.
Wow.
And so come on.
Right. Exactly.
What gender got to do with it?
Like,
You already know.
so I should think of Tina Turner, but I immediately think of Angela Bassett. I can't help it. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Okay. And be like, he hit me. I like the whole thing. I just cannot.
Oh,
That was too much.
Mm.
Legit.
Yeah.
No, not men. That nigga. Anyway, a lot of
Oh no,
them.
sorry. Wait, me or you? Who would you correct? Or
Whoa. Okay. Anyways, right, you had to hit that.
Before
That's
we
gonna be
get
the thing for the
started,
night.
though,
Whoa. Do that every time.
before we get started, though, make sure y'all grab your water, your fidget toys. I want to say
Yes.
fidget used, but it should be the fidget
Ooh.
toys. Favorite snacks, because it's time to get hype. I got
I'm
coffee.
so proud of myself. I have all of
water.
the things. I definitely
Hey.
thought I would be lacking at least one.
Share. Do share. What are your things? What's your favorite fidget toy, Zay? Hey, and while Zay is mentioning, sorry, real quick, if you have a favorite fidget toy, drop the name of your favorite fidget toy in the comments, man, so we can check it out for sure. What is your favorite fidget toy?
So I wouldn't say favorite. I would say most reliable because I feel like I'm still in the exploration stage, right?
Same. I will never be done until I have touched them all.
I see, I feel like being your friend in particular,
yes,
gives me a much better idea of what is ADHD and what is the ASD. Because while you're just like, yes, I want to touch them all, I was like, I would like to touch as many as it takes for me to find one That means I never have to make another decision about this.
Right.
Right. I feel that. I feel
I'm like,
that.
I feel you. I feel you.
Based on
It's
certain
just finite.
criteria, how close can I
Right.
get to the one?
Right. I feel that.
Right.
Awesome.
So
Well,
I have this one.
ooh, what's that? Oh,
So
okay.
it's like a
Okay,
5K
yeah.
widget.
Oh,
Yeah.
And this,
It's
my
like a key
mother
ring, kind of, right?
has us, yes, constantly. Well, prior to the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
um, my mom is a Christian minister of music and a music
Well,
teacher.
well.
So yeah, so just I have to spend a lot of time quiet and engaged in boring things. So this one I
Break it
sought out
down.
specifically because
Right. It was quiet.
what's
I get
happening?
that. Uh-oh. There are things.
is it time for something?
Listen, right. No,
It's
you
an
know.
alarm that you had to set for something.
No. I just had my watch face down and it set a timer.
Right. That's what it wants to do around
It
here.
said
Good
time to
job.
put the face up.
I'm just
Right.
like, okay. But anyway, so yeah,
All
this
good.
one I feel like you
That's
have a
the
few
fave.
options of how to play with it. It's very
Mm.
quiet, discreet. You can do it in the pocket, But I also, for the purpose of this show, brought my box
Ooh,
of
yeah.
all the
Ooh,
ones.
exciting.
Ooh, a
Yeah.
box.
It's a show and
So
tell.
I definitely am not gonna play with any of these. But
Right.
I mean, we wouldn't judge you
I
if you
thought
do.
I thought that
Right.
I might, but now that I'm at the moment, I'm like, no, I'm fine with what I have.
You can send us
So a small Rubik's cube,
Okay.
Okay.
some puzzle ball that I'm not. It's gonna take me a minute to figure out how to work it, so I just won't.
Oh, I got one of them. Yeah, it's like a snake
This
thing.
little,
We got one of those.
mhm, some squishy little. I don't know, maybe like the texture of like a reusable peep.
Okay.
So
That's
those
I would
mochi
say.
things.
I don't know that I would like. Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Rubbery.
know.
Is it
It's like a sticky hand that's not sticky.
is it
Oh,
like in the
made
shape
out
of
of
a
that
duck
shit.
or a small like
Yes.
animal?
yeah.
It's a
Now that you
mochi.
say that,
Okay.
yes. Prior to that, it was a useless blob that they included in the package.
They put a nose on it and called it a duck.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't even get the
That's not-
nose. I was just like,
Oh
this is
no.
an odd shape. I literally would
Right.
not have ever thought a duck laying down flat.
Look,
Um, like
I've
laying prostrate
never.
before the Lord. That
I
was
don't
not
like those
ever
mochis because like when you get the mochis and you like the sticky hands when you take them out and they get like out into the
On
world
everything.
and they get
Right.
left on the
Yes, it
floor.
collects
Like
Gross.
lint.
yes, exactly
Lint
it. And I'm
and
like, I don't want
debris.
it after
And then
that.
you have to
Don't
throw
want
it
it.
away after you've
Trash.
I don't want
bonded
it after
with
it picks up the
Great
lint.
trash.
Yes.
I might as well
Somebody
use
get
it to
on
get
that.
the dust off my car
Microbial
windshield.
Somebody needs to
hand.
make one that's like not. See, that's what I'm saying. I feel like maybe neurodivergent people aren't making these, and I am saying this tentatively only because I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, these are things that I would like to have considered. Like, yo, it's probably gonna get lost. It's probably gonna be in a seat. It's probably gonna like be in places where it will pick
Heaven
up dirt.
forbid it's
So,
in my
like, keep
car.
that in mind when you're making it, right?
Oh
Like,
my god.
make
No,
it
so
like stuff proof. That would be
oh my
nice.
god.
Like,
Well, so like with the slime, and so you know
Mm.
how slime's been the big thing lately,
right.
and so back in the 90s, it was like the splat. It's basically
Mhm.
slime because you know Nickelodeon was big on the slime.
Right,
So
right, right.
I would get slime. I would play with it all the time until little things would get stuck in it.
Gross.
Yes.
Oh,
Now
like
it's
pieces of
spoiled.
hair,
Don't want it.
little crumbs,
Don't
and like
want
you
it.
can feel it. And like I don't,
Don't
want
want
it
it.
now. I don't
Right.
want it anymore.
Gross. And I'm not gonna run it underwater because that's too much work.
No.
So
And then next year, like you're
No.
pulling it apart to get the pieces out, and then like the
Right.
pieces don't go back together. It's
all of it.
I was that
But
person. I was
literally
definitely the
me.
person.
Yeah.
Because also my mom did not like us to have too much fun. So I was
Well,
not
you
gonna
know,
get another one. So to
that's
pick
right.
and I went.
You already was having too much fun with that one.
Right,
golly.
right,
Won't be none of this
correct.
fun
And then
happen.
folks have the nerve now to make like slime kits for kids. Hell
Literally that.
no.
I can't.
No. I'm like, yeah, they can
taught
do
my
this at
son
your
how to make
house.
them, but
Me
still,
mall.
like, my son don't even really like it that much. That's why I was like, I honestly
Because how much
not
enjoyment
much you can
get?
do. Right.
You'd be surprised.
I don't know.
Like it doesn't hold the shape. It's not even like got the flexibility of a Play-Doh in terms of
Nasty.
application. The fun is
Like
making
gum.
it. But now once
I
I've
feel like
made
it's like
it,
gum. I was just about to say, I feel like it's like gum, like when you play with it, but you can't put it in your mouth. So that part sucks. Like that's kind of the point. Like I kind of want to know with your teeth. Okay. Just
yeah. Yeah, I feel like after a couple of days, it's like, yeah, when you go to a
that
birthday
sounds like
party
it old.
and paint a piece of
Ew.
ceramic and it looks terrible, is janky looking. You did
Right.
not,
I didn't
You didn't
want
put
it.
your
coat
best.
it evenly.
And
And
then like,
but you're
and then
proud
it
of
gets into
yourself.
things.
You glad you made it. You
But
know.
like
Right.
now, like it gets into everything. Like it gets into the carpet and like
Yes.
furniture, and I'm like,
Exactly.
now I have to like
This is
lose
extra
enjoyment and clean it up. What
Right.
the hell?
Extra work. Not here
Well,
for it.
and so that's my
No.
point. Is like, it's nice for a moment.
Correct. I
And then
agree.
the moment passes.
But once I realize like I don't get enough like a hit of dopamine from that, I'm like, I don't want it. It's not
Right.
worth my time. It's
Legit.
not worth my time. I want some
Legit.
long lasting.
And that's what I'm saying. I think that's why you have to have such a plethora of like different toys, because it's like one day it's this, and then the next day it's like, I don't really want this. I kind of want something to spin, or I really want something to like squeeze on because I'm angry and I need to like deal with that. So it's just, I think staying flexible is most important. That's why I say get you a kit, homie. Like get you a little situation.
Tara, what's your favorite fidget?
Mine is, I actually think, so that's why I was saying, like, for me, I use these squares a lot when I have meetings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I walk around my neighborhood, yo-yo,
Oh,
because
fun.
it's involved, but also like, you remember you like, did y'all use them in like middle school or high school and all
I like
that?
I would get them, but I wasn't a yo-yoer.
Nah, I was a yo-yo. I was hard. Listen, I was
not a
learning the tricks
yo-yoer.
and the shit. Cause like, this is the thing. If you knew how to do tricks and stuff, you'd be at lunch and be like, oh, cats in the cradle in the shit, walking the dog. What? And you'd be like, I'm the best, clearly. Okay.
Oh
Get my bread.
no. I guess mine would be like, I guess that's, so I like the infinity cubes, like the little squares you have. I like the infinity cubes.
Yeah.
There was one little fidget that my oldest got. It's like this, like the slinky type things, but there wasn't an end to it. It was very circular, and it was like basically coiled, but it was like a coiled ring.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
And the coils were pretty tight, so like you could,
like
hold it in your hand,
like
or you can like I could put it on as like a ring if I wanted to, and just kind of like roll it on my fingers, and like it was a weird like sensory like pressure thingy that I enjoyed. And, like, but like I like that. I was
about to say my husband likes the rings too. He has some that he used at work forever, and they would just like, they're magnetic. You ever seen those ones?
Oh no,
They use those. Yeah. Look,
we're gonna
have to make us like a Amazon. This is all our favorite like fidget toy situation, so y'all can get the hookup on that, man, for real.
And I was gonna say too, I was thinking about it. My favorite fidget of all time is definitely like, I don't know. They used to sell them at like places like City Walk, where like it's like grifting but child friendly. Like in those places, so like carnivals, beach piers, theme park entrances, like
right.
They had these magnets where you like throw them up and then they make a noise when they like go together. It's like two little ovals.
Yeah.
But so I like that because you could use it like that. And I probably bought them for like $15. It is absolutely not worth it. But
all of 2 cents to make.
But I'm like, but the man, he throws it up and they make a noise. Like, but like also like quietly you could like roll them in your hand, and then like they were pretty strong, like neodymium magnets or whatever. So then you could have like the pressure of pulling it apart. So but I lost one. So
my son likes magnets too. That's funny.
So I just remembered, so like one of my other ones that I really like, it's the little like it's like a mesh type of plastic netting.
Yep.
And it has a little marble inside.
Like
and you just basically yes, exactly that. And you just push it back and forth. Yes, that is it. That is it. I love those things.
Can't see it. Oh yeah,
I love those things.
Really?
I feel like a YouTuber.
They have.
I will sit there and just. There you go.
I was thinking the same thing.
This is me showing you my makeup. This
Right.
is
I mean, it
shade
did
here.
work. I see why they
Right.
do it now, but that's
Right.
ghetto. They
No,
need to
like I
invent
will sit there
something.
and just roll that marble back and forth, and like there's
Mm.
the only way that I will lose the marble is if I lose the little pouch thingy.
Really?
That's the nice thing about it. Like I like those things a lot. I don't know why.
I was gonna say when y'all started mentioning other ones that y'all like, that made me think about the little things you pop, the
Oh, the poppets.
yeah, you know, they come in a package. That is
Oh.
the most basic version of a fidget I think that exists. It's like those little what do they call them? Bubble wrap.
Oh
Bubble
yeah.
wrap. And
Mm-hmm.
you pop the bubble wrap.
Oh, okay. So then I agree with you because I have never been more disappointed by a potential fidget than them little little.
Yes, I
don't
hate
know.
those. I hate those. Those are the ones
Like
I
I
always see, and I'm
really
like,
thought I
what?
was gonna like it, and I'm
Who
like,
is
this does
legit?
nothing.
Yes,
Not
it's
an
not the
ounce
same.
of
It's not the
dopamine was
same.
had.
No,
just like,
It's the pop from the bubble wrap. I think that gives you the dopamine hit,
It's
and
the
you're not getting the
pressure.
pop from
Yeah.
just
okay.
pushing it.
So is
Just
anybody else
wobbling it to
confused
the other
by like
side.
is anybody else confused with like the ones where like the poppets are like your phone case or the purse, and I'm like the
Right.
phone case one like so
That
like,
one
where's-
actually I would get.
I feel like that would
I
be
don't
the only way I
know.
would use it because it's
A
just there.
purse? I don't know.
No,
Mainly
that's
because
not like
that's
that,
ugly.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't know that I want
But
my
My
whole
old has a
purse
rainbow one right
covered
now
in
somewhere.
So this
hidden
is
somewhere.
mine. It's
marble tie-dye
it has
bubbles.
glitter in it, and I'll
Mhm.
use that because I like squish it because it's
Oh, that's cute. Oh, see,
yeah.
that's one thing. But like a pop-it phone case, like the whole idea of like pushing one side and then flipping it over and then push the other, but you can't really do that with the phone case.
Mm.
And like you look
Yeah.
crazy doing that with your purse.
Right. So I'm like, how would you have to like take it off every time and
Okay,
pop it?
honestly, that would be very easy to fix.
That's extra.
I don't know. It's
So all you would need is a slight valve.
I'm mad
And
you
then
over
you
here
set
coming
it.
up with solutions. Zay, look, I cannot. Literally that. That's so funny. Love it. Okay.
I didn't ask for the solution here.
Right. Here we go. All good. No, I want to go ahead and hop into our hype session real quick. And this one we're calling I'm Defined. Because you know I'm defined, child. Yeah. I don't know about you, but you know.
You know I got
We all out here
here.
defined. Come on, Al. Listen, you don't gotta do all that. But basically, what's gonna happen, Zay, I'm going to say a word, and I want you to say what it either means to you and why, or like how you would define that word. Whichever feels, the realest to you.
Okay.
Okay. So this first word is gonna be gender.
I think I would describe it as the sum total of, or how can I say it? Like all the things that have either a masculine, feminine, or feminine energy to it, like the sum total of all 1 billion of those individual questions. Yeah.
Gotcha. So to that point, I guess then maybe take it a step further. And what about gender spectrum?
So yeah, I guess.
Oh, you can leave gender up. Sorry, Ricky. I know he's like, what? I don't have these.
I mean, I was gonna add spectrum to it, but yeah.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I feel like it's a part of that, but yeah.
What?
Gender spectrum. Okay, that sounds like that's a no. So ally.
No, I was trying to figure out what y'all were, because I didn't know what y'all were talking about, so I didn't know if I was also confused.
No,
I didn't want to.
I apologize. That was
I may be. Sometimes I don't know. I'm confused.
Right. It'd be like this. Listen, we are all confused. I feel. No, what I was asking, because you said gender is like the total sum of like what it means to have like feminine or masculine energy. And so I said, I was asking you to describe gender spectrum, or just, I guess maybe what I'm asking is that what you're describing when you say that? or do you mean something different?
I guess yes.
Mm. Yeah.
Like to combine them, I guess I would just say gender is a spectrum.
Well, I get, yeah.
Like my mental image as I was talking was a
Was
spectrum.
that was like
And
this
then you
side
said
is
gender
this
spectrum. So
side, and this
yes.
side is this one, and we're all in between. Yeah, I dig that. Awesome.
Well,
So,
actually, I would
no,
say it's probably at least the way that I like my understanding, like as I grow up and as the world changes and more information is available,
hmm,
has evolved. So I guess at this point, the way I'm conceptualizing it is more like a what do they call that? Like the X and Y thing in math.
gotcha. X and Y grid or axis, X and
Yeah,
Y axis. So it's kind of
but like the full, like with the negative parts,
the
like the full
whole, yes.
four. Yeah.
Because you got some people down here in the negative side that's trash, and then you got other people up here in the
Well,
positive. I'm just playing. I'm messing. I'm
sure.
messing. I don't know that that's. Well, I agree because I'm going more like positive, negative attitudes, but I understand what you mean as far as gender. There is no positive or negative in that. Um,
Correct. I'm like,
but I was
yes,
saying like attitudes
yes, yes.
about it.
That's. I'm like, I understand exactly,
Yes,
but I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that one is
you
better than
know,
the other.
correct.
Like,
They do exist,
mhm.
and there you go. They have their opinion. So let's go to the next one. I think I'm going to go with ally. What comes to mind with that word?
um,
There's no such things.
Ooh, that's controversial, man. Oh, now I got questions for you, Ricky. But go ahead, say continue. I'm coming back to
well,
you, Ricky. Look,
I think I was having a hard time trying to like distill my response because
Mm,
I agree with Ricky.
okay,
Like
no, give it to
it's
me.
like
I like this.
I think it's a useful term to have, but it doesn't actually exist.
True that. Okay, I understand that. So it doesn't matter what definition you put on it. We're basically describing a unicorn
Like we're talking
or
about
a
like a
superpower. It's
true
not
ally, like what we want in an ally
right.
that requires someone to not center themselves.
Mm,
Right.
yeah.
And I don't think that's possible.
In the
Regardless where you
problem
are.
or the understanding,
Right.
discovery, or the solution.
Right.
Gotcha.
Like it's a lot to ask of people with no self awareness.
Right.
True. So I guess my question then is that word helpful?
I think so.
Okay.
I like
Because it's
the
like a goal to like want to attain kind of thing. Like I even though I may fall short, I still
Yeah.
well, not
like
even that.
Jesus.
Oh
We
God,
can't all be
no,
Jesus, but
let's
we
not.
can try. That's what they be
Mm-mm.
telling you.
I think the problem is so ally kind of gets used as like a shield for
Mm,
people. I'm an ally, so like so that means that you can assume that I'm on your side,
Right.
but we're human, and for those of us that are not self-aware, and even the ones that are actively working against that
mhm.
still stumble.
Right. And
So
what so I guess to my point, to y'all's point, because I like this. I guess my thing is like I always felt like allies are who we define them to be, right? Like whoever
mhm,
you define that person to be. So that could change from person to person.
it
To
could.
me, I don't consider you an ally, or I do consider you an ally because you are, checking things like your privilege or whatever. Even if it's a work in progress, you're still open to the idea that there's something there that needs to be changed or fixed or worked on
Right.
versus like somebody who is like, I'm an ally. And then I go and ask them questions and they're like, I largely feel like, we all are the same. If you're pink or
This is
purple or
literally making
blue
me
or peach.
tired. It's almost as if a white person is here. I'm just like, I'm exhausted. Like,
Yes, that.
but no. So I mean, I think we're all on the same page.
Mm,
I do like the introduction of the ally versus accomplice.
Mhm.
yeah.
Um, talk, and not that it really makes any different, because people who want to co-opt things and then do nothing will do
It's
that
true.
with any terminology.
Any terminology. I was about to say, because that's how you get Christians that are Christians, but they
Well, I mean,
largely
that's how you
follow
got
a Trump
ally.
or a whatever.
So,
Exactly. Literally that. Right.
So,
um,
but also like it's so with the allies not centering themselves.
Mm.
You got to find a way to not censor yourself, but also put yourself in the front line of the front line.
yeah,
Um,
Or at
because
the very least, just acknowledge that like you don't have the experience to be able to speak to what somebody else is saying, and that doesn't mean that their point is not valid. Like
mhm.
I think that that's the issue is like people feel like, oh, it's only valid if I have experienced it or if I know people that have experienced like one person experiencing oppression or issues is enough for us to be willing to change things. It should be, in my
right.
opinion. Um,
So,
but
yeah, to that point, I think like, so like obviously having allies is useful.
mm,
Sorry, I
yeah,
have a terrible chair. It was the only option.
it's okay.
Um,
It bees like
like
that.
I like the term. Okay, I wish there were different terms for all of these things, but I see a
Love
few
it.
useful uses for it in addition to all the bullshit uses.
Yeah.
Like in terms of, so for me, growing up like a sheltered religious kid,
Mm.
learning about, different types of people that I've not been exposed to, which was literally everyone outside of my home. Um, it like gives you, um, it's almost like it felt like getting patches. Like, okay, like I know about this struggle now and I'm invested, or like I'm aware. Like it like gives you a word to just mean like I'm thinking about this, like, I've been exposed to this and I want to do what I can. Now, the degree to which, like, like I'm allied with the impoverished in India to some degree, but,
Right.
there's very little that I can do
Correct.
toward that. But, like, still just having enough information to combat negative stereotypes when I hear it or whatever. Like, I think it's important just in terms of, like, giving people something to latch onto
Or to
who
work
are
towards.
outside of the experience.
Yeah.
Like, there is a role for you in this. It's not
Right.
just like that it's not happening to you.
Mm.
So like there's nowhere for you to really be. Like you are the support. So I think that's important to identify.
Mm.
Um, I also think for like you're saying, for people who are affected to be able to identify what does or does not make good help, and like people who are willing to listen to that and
Right.
comport themselves accordingly. Um, so like I don't know if ally is the word, but I think like the function of having a word is useful.
Gotcha. Okay, I completely agree with that, and I like that because basically you're saying you like the idea behind it, but the word itself, unfortunately, is
It's not
slathered in
precise enough
yeah,
to prevent it from being misused
misuse.
every which way.
Understood. And I know that firsthand, so I agree with
Mhm.
you. We're gonna pick like a couple more a couple more words, and then we'll go ahead and hit this thing into hyper mode. So the next question that I have for you is queer. How do you define the word queer, and what does that word mean to you?
Um, I would say not cisgender, not uh heterosexual, or both
Gotcha. So
would qualify.
heteronormative, I guess, is kind of the or like not that basically anybody who's not what we would consider to be heteronormative or hetero. I don't know. I'm probably using the wrong terms. I don't. That's why I'm asking.
It's close.
Okay,
You're in the right. You're thinking in the
I'm in the
right thing.
ballpark.
It's the grammar. I don't have the syntax at the moment, but yes, correct.
Gotcha.
Whatever
Okay,
the correct um part of speech that goes into, correct.
I got you. So to that point, we're just gonna end off on this one. What about the word pride? What does that word mean to you?
Um, my immediate response is exhaustion.
Hmm.
That
But that is, like also Juneteenth, also Black History
Yeah.
Month, also
all of it.
all just
Ooh.
it's I
Carrying
so
all
it's
the
not the pride itself, but like at when I first hear it, I think of an explosion
responsibility.
of a pinata on everything for 30 days,
No.
and then the world goes back to normal.
Oh
Right.
God.
Um,
We must clean it up after.
Okay, so
Like legit.
questions, eh? So questions, eh? So as someone um with the someone on the spectrum, the hoopla that can usually tends to happen with pride events, is that overwhelming for you? Because that sounds
Oh
overwhelming for me.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good question.
so,
Being outside is overwhelming, honestly.
Mm.
well,
Right?
at this point,
Right.
there's so much
So much.
like that everyone has to avoid in addition to the things that I alone have to avoid.
Mm.
That often it's just not worth attempting leaving the house.
Mhm.
Um,
I saw, you know what? To that point, I saw somebody do a TikTok. He was like, I don't know what his pronouns are, but basically they were saying that they were like, you know what, to all my queer and LGBTQ folks that's like laid back, this is for you. And like
Right.
legit just let it rock. He was on the couch like chilling. Like this is just, not everybody's that person who's like, we got to be out here and marching and shining. And I think that that's like the piece where I don't know. I just feel like the relate because you were talking about related struggles. And so that just kind of made me think about like the whole Black Pride piece and just like going to marches and like largely being involved in that stuff. It like takes so much out of me in a way that I feel like I am not as beneficial as I would be if I was at home making the calls. I'm
Okay.
just saying, like that might
No,
be
no,
my
no, for
spot.
sure,
That might
for
be
sure.
where,
Legit
No,
though,
no, no.
but like think
I
about like
100%
when you go to
agree.
like a
I
big
don't need to
pride
do it.
events and like what about like accessibility? Like that's
So that's a
That's
huge
what,
issue.
yes.
Okay,
yeah.
so backing up real quick in terms of
Mhm.
at the start of this question, I've never been to a pride anything
Mm.
uh due to things contributing to the CPTSD of it all.
Yeah.
Um also like okay, I'm starting to understand this as a function of ASD is that like the concept or like whatever um goes into like the atoms of our ego
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
different. So
Yeah.
like it takes me a second to realize that I am something even if I know.
Mm.
So like I'm still in the process of like like I have to keep reminding myself like no, you're not an ally, stupid. Like this is you too.
Right. You're a part of this community. Okay. So to that point, I also feel like there are many of us that in general, because like LGBTQ rights in general just have not been largely out front. We don't have representation as much. That's getting better, but it's still not as like prevalent.
Mhm.
There was just, and then like coming from like a hyper religious background, like I'm sure that those two just did not mix in terms of like, I feel a way, but there's not anything that y'all are saying in this like church community situation that is confirming like what I know to be true as my reality. Um, can you like maybe talk about that disconnect a little bit as we go into the next section?
Um yeah, so I guess like relating to this too, like in terms of you mentioned like a lack of representation and like rights and stuff. And I would say like when I personally think of pride, like my first thought is Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, and there was a third person who name I just saw for the first time. Save the TikTok. Who knows if I'll ever see it again? But it looks French. That helps anybody.
It's gone.
Um,
We don't know. It's in the
but
atmosphere.
yeah, so like, and honestly, because of growing up in such a restrictive, honestly, not even just like religious, but like judgy under the guise of religion. Cause like,
Yes. Because that's all it you right.
yeah, right. But
Yes.
like, just to give people like a standpoint, like I remember listening to secular music for the first time. Like that's a memory that I have because I was old.
What song was
Um,
it? I must know.
okay, and I will say this excludes things I heard on the bus or at
Okay.
other people's
I give you that.
sleepovers
Right. Because
or
you was getting the peppering from those interactions.
right. And
Understood.
everything I heard on the radio was made before the year 1993, I would
Oh
say.
Lord. So you was in the old
So,
school stuff. You oldest but
yeah.
goodies. All
Yeah.
right.
So basically, Salty the Singing Songbook, VeggieTales, Chris Tomlin, which is like old school, what you would make jokes about with Hillsong. Like
Yes.
it's
Oh
like
God.
all the same.
I
It follows a
know
theme, and it's
my
like white people Christian.
Redeemer
Yes,
Oh
yes,
man.
yes,
Okay.
Oh
yes.
yes.
Ooh.
Great.
And then seventh grade. So sixth grade, I went to private school.
Mm.
I was one of 3 black people in my class. I became the third black person.
I have that experience as well. So
Mm-hmm.
much fun.
And then but so I graduated elementary school, but at that new school, sixth grade was still elementary school. So then by the time I actually got to middle school, when we
Mm.
had time to go to the computer lab, my friend, who is still one of
Look
my
you
good
up.
friends, uh, who was one of the 3 black people, was like, "Have you heard this new Missy Elliott song?" And I was like,
Hey.
"Who's that?"
Yeah. That's the one, man. Come on now.
It's
Mm-hmm.
Which
my
one was it?
window.
It was
Right.
past that Dutch.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
Oh
That's
wow.
that Dutch.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
man.
like late.
And
That's late
that was
90s for real.
that's 2000. It was 2003.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Man.
I was
Yeah.
12.
Wow.
So, like, in terms of like actively seeking out a song from a secular individual that
Mm.
was not like the Spice Girls or like, okay, example, I was allowed to watch all that, provided that I cut it off before the musical guest came on. Like, it was that
Right.
serious in my house.
Oh gosh, man. So it was like hyper what's the word? Censored. Um
Hmm.
as far as it goes. So
Yeah.
that's crazy.
And yeah, my dad works at a church, my mom does ministry.
Mm. I have that background as well.
So, yeah, so like literally nothing I was doing
Was fitting.
except musical theater
Right.
was Jesus based.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
From the friends to the all the youth groups, all
Wonderful.
of it.
Right.
So yeah, but saying all that to say, like, oh wait, honestly, I just lost it. I had it up until very recently. Why are we talking about Missy Elliott?
Because we were talking about your connection to from like being in a hyper censored environment, like growing up with church
Oh,
and talking about
that was
pride.
my point. Is
And
because
yeah,
so that was all to give
I
you
got you. I
more
got you.
understanding
Right.
for when I say
Layers.
that, like, honestly, the fight that I had at, like, growing up was
Mhm.
just being an ally.
Mm.
Like that was already
Right.
like
Let
coming out on
alone
its own for me.
being a part of the community. Like, I got you.
Well, yes, but also I did not know that being trans was a thing until like
Mm.
senior year. So that helped. Like I did not know I was a part of it.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And just to clarify too, because that's one of those words that is like steeped in a lot of people thinking they understand it or think they know what you mean when you say it. So can you just kind of clarify what that means to you, that word trans? Like, do you literally feel, I don't want to put words in your mouth. You tell me what that means. That's what I'm going to say. And that we'll leave it there.
So for me personally, I would say like um I guess hmm. So I guess I am not really certain. Like I don't spend a whole lot of time getting up on the new discourse and all the
Right. Because it's a lot
explanations
of
and
terms.
stuff. I just feel like when y'all come to a decision, you let me
Let me
know
know.
and I'll
Holla
let
at me.
everybody else know. But like, all the parsing of
What time do I need to
all
be
the
at
parts
work?
of
Just let me know
speech.
that.
Right, exactly. So say
Right.
that to say, like, I know there are parts that I'm probably not considering in this
Mm.
explanation that have people are talking about in terms of like
Sure.
steps. But like for me, it's just like how you envision, like the you that you picture in your head
Mm-hmm.
and the you that you see in the mirror are misaligned somehow. To what degree? I don't know. What that does for
Mhm.
you, I don't know. But like that's like the base part.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, I think that this is a good place for us to go ahead and jump into hyper mode so we can meet you at the crossroads, home. Because listen, there's a lot of things that can impact neurodiversity, including race and gender. And being a part of that community, I just feel like it's a good space for you to be able to kind of talk to some of those struggles and, just kind of understanding all of that stuff. So I'm gonna just ask a few questions, and just make sure that we get into this thing and understand it a little bit better. So which part of your identity do you feel was most clear to you growing up, and how did you know that, I guess, or how was that like, I guess, how did you know that like this is what I identify with and this is why I feel like this is who I'm supposed to be? Or like was it the black side that you was down with that made it more clear, your gender, or your neurodiversities?
Um okay. So I have a complicated answer. I
Okay.
feel like what I
Mhm.
was first aware of is my neurodivergence,
Mm,
but I wasn't thinking about it in that way. But like the things that I
gotcha.
noticed fall into that. The thing that I was sure of firmly or like knew in my spirit earliest would be gender.
Mm,
And then I understood gender more and then understood or like I had to be talked out of it. Like I thought how I was thinking about my own gender was normal
mm,
and I
gotcha.
found out it wasn't. And whereas I felt like my neurotype was abnormal and then I had to find out it was normal. But
Gotcha.
like I definitely remember
Mm,
feeling like why is nobody understanding when I'm talking or like people being like can you sit down? Can you be quiet? Can like that
mm,
stuff I remember more
more.
frequently and like individual instances, but in terms of like overall,
Gotcha.
like the deepness would be gender.
Yeah. Okay. And well, you didn't even mention race, but I assume that that was just something you just like. Do you feel like that was
No,
something you kind of connected with till later, or
that
um?
was later. I would say honestly, not until middle school. Not
Mm,
until yeah, because so my parents basically I constructed my own blackness, which worked because being autistic, I love research. But
mm,
anyway, like my dad grew up in Jackson, Mississippi in the
mm,
50s and 60s and you know, grew up hearing, walking with his dad and his dad being called boy.
mm.
Um
Yeah.
my he also integrated his high school.
Wow.
Um
Yeah.
then he some time passed and then he joined the military, got to see the world, be around white people who didn't hate him on sight. And then, white people out here, when they moved, were the ones who give him a job, suggest him for the managerial program, suggest he go back to school. So
Mm,
that's his trajectory of white people is like one side is painful, one side is too grateful to say anything.
gotcha. Yeah.
Um, and
That part,
then
man. Yeah.
my mom, on the other hand,
Hmm.
was a military kid. We're gonna call it military brat.
That's what they
Um,
say.
but
Oh
she grew up in all of the places that not only have white people but barely have people, such as
my.
Merced, California,
Right.
in
Like,
the
what does that
'60s.
mean?
It's barely a thing now.
Right.
Um, North Dakota and New Mexico, and New Mexico is the base that her father and my dad were both assigned to, and they met, and then here we go to
Gotcha.
present. Um,
Right.
fast forward. But like her family also, so she's the third out of four,
Mm-hmm.
and she did most of her growing up in New Mexico, like the final station. So there were not a lot of black people outside of her family almost ever, and then certainly not then. Um, but like the way that she survived her environment, or however you
Mm-hmm.
say that, is like the coping skill she relied on is like being
Mask,
palatable to white people. And
mask
so
on.
Assimilated real hard.
Mm.
right, so I mean, but to like the detriment of her and
Right.
others.
Right.
But like,
And
you know, and then so like she just doesn't, she was never interested in black stuff. So I'm just like, oh, the 70s. She's like, yeah, I mean, I was playing classical flute. I'm like, you were of no help. Why were you even there?
okay. Right. No help. You supposed to
What
be
do you
telling me Prince
need?
and all these people, right?
Right.
Not helping, mama.
It's like the equivalent of like tall people who don't play sports. It's like, well, give it
Right.
to me then.
That,
So saying
that.
that to say, yeah, like
I got you.
I had to figure out how to be black on my own. I feel like I did a pretty good job
You know, we let you
considering.
in. I'm just playing.
But no,
Look,
no,
I
for
don't
real
have
though.
no
For
place to
real.
put you, child. Please.
For real.
I was largely trying to join. I like get my black card as well. Like growing up, so like I grew up in a very white environment as well. In New Hampshire, of all places. Shout out to New Hampshire. Woo woo. I don't know if you look. Ain't nobody dropped in the chats because don't nobody know nothing about New Hampshire either. Like legit, any part of it, just it's all problematic. So I legit didn't even like have understanding of like race till I got to school and the teacher was like, "Yes, so let's talk about slavery." And then I realized, wait a minute. I look like some of these people, but I don't look like the
And the rest of
one.
the class starts staring at you, like
Right,
the whole
that
entire
part.
unit.
And just making it uncomfortable. And I was just like, really? And then I had to go home with that and then like have to deal with like of course these white kids was waiting for this moment all their life. They've been hearing nigga at their house all the time. So like that comes out on the bus and all of that. So I basically would just deal with it by like popping off, you know. I just that's what my mouth was ratchet.
So okay, yeah. So I guess in that sense,
mm,
maybe kindergarten.
mm.
But in
Okay.
terms of like understanding what that meant for me and like understanding
Yes.
that I was one of those black
Right.
people, I would say middle school.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you think that your neurodiversities like are impacted by your gender identity or vice versa?
Kind of. I would no. Let me gather my words. I would not.
It's
I
all
would
good.
not say it impacts what happens, but I would say it does impact how I experience it.
Mm.
So, like,
Which matters.
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like biochemistry and neurochemistry or neurophysiology, nothing is different.
Okay.
Like,
Do you
speaking
feel
as
like you
someone,
have like similar so like specifically ADHD just because that is the one that we all seem to all have in
mhm,
this group. Like do you feel like you trend more with the symptoms of ADHD that are typical to the female presentation or versus the male presentation? Are there like more male presentation parts that you feel like you identify within the other way around, if that makes sense?
I would say it's both.
Mm,
Um, which like, yeah, I'm often sometimes when I'm not thinking of anything, I just often ponder how my parents could have possibly allowed me to get all the way to 21 without ever receiving an adequate diagnosis of anything. Like,
it's crazy.
because once I found out what it was, I'm like, I literally was doing all this all the time. You
Right?
yelled
Literally.
about me
They
daily.
beat
Did you
me,
not pick
child.
up any
They
books,
was over here trying to
magazines,
spank me,
the
child. I was
highlights
like, we
in the
can't beat it
dentist
out.
office?
You
Like,
can't beat out
God dang.
executive functioning. Go figure.
No.
Right.
It's not
Because
a
it's
thing.
like, oh, well, you know, some kids don't. I'm like, no, literally, I am a small white boy, just brown and
Right.
a girl.
That.
Like it's literally no different
That.
at all. On jumping on stuff,
That's funny.
climbing on stuff, talking too much. I had one family friend who like I saw for since childhood. And she was like, "Yeah, you were the only kid I've ever met who never walked." I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "No, yeah, you always skipped. Like, I don't think I ever saw you walk." So
See,
like,
this is my fault. You had Black Boy Joy
I
early.
can't,
Listen,
I
already.
can't.
It's all over me.
Frolicking,
Keeping
just
me
a
alive.
constant state of
Okay.
frolicking.
right. So that's why I'm just like, really, really.
So funny.
Like, all third graders don't pull all nighters to finish their homework. Now that has
I was
several
thinking that
components.
as well. I'm just gonna put that out there, or projects, or like all of that. And I was just like, why? But I swear to you, I don't know. Even like in New Hampshire, I don't even remember like even white males being labeled as ADHD. I didn't know anything about neurodiversity at all. It just wasn't like a thing. It was just like, kids are kids. And then if they
Well, I
don't
mean,
act right,
you
then you beat them.
were a kid,
That was it.
so that was
Exactly.
not really your business
I mean,
until
wasn't my
somebody
business.
identified
Right.
with it.
Wasn't
Right,
my
that part.
business, but
That
that
part.
part.
They're like, "Oh, yes, 7 kids in our class today have been diagnosed." Like, why would you have the information?
Right. I don't know that I would have known. True. I feel like that probably would have been a different class, probably altogether in general.
Mhm.
So ain't no telling. But in a perfect world, like
So I'll say
where
like,
oh, go ahead.
no. So I'll say like, given the neurophysiology, basically, you don't have adequate dopamine in the synapses long enough for the things that dopamine controls to get done.
Right.
Like that really has no difference. The difference in presentation comes with gendered socialization.
Good. Yeah.
So if you are banging on stuff, causing a ruckus, and a boy, they'll say go
Right.
outside, run some laps, take
Right.
up boxing, whatever. And they, because to some degree that behavior is expected of you at that level for longer
Mm.
past, when they would expect a girl
A
to
girl,
level out, want to mother basically, and do nothing but except that and homework and whatever else.
which is not even
Um,
a realistic. I know. I just genuinely hear all these things and I wonder sometimes like if there were so I was gonna ask this in a question, but essentially like if the world we were to start it over, okay? And
mhm,
we're just starting anew, guys. We can do it however we want. Would you even have
I'm tired.
gender? Would you even want gender to exist? Like what is the purpose of gender
I mean,
outside of the harmful ways? I guess my thing is like I guess for me it's just I don't see enough positives to it to make me feel like that would largely be the way that I would want to have a world, right? That separates people in that way and just more like people are people and they need to be able to have clothes, and like some clothes I like to fit me nice and sometimes I don't. Like I genuinely wear baggy clothes sometimes. I wore my brother's like pants forever, or like cargo shorts, or like just shopping in different parts of the store instead of being like, well, I'm just gonna shop in the girls section or the whatever section. It's like, why can't I just have
first
like
of all,
clothes?
I would like to speak to everyone and just say, girls like more than pink. I just want to
Correct.
say,
And I hate
I
that.
don't know
Boys like
why.
pink. Literally, my husband's favorite color is purple. So I mean, my favorite color is green. Like we are very much like he the one to get all the purple stuff. So it's like that's just you being
But
able to
I'm
show
saying,
like it
like,
doesn't really matter. Like
yeah, like, I'm saying, like, even down to kids being able to wear clothes the color that they want
right.
would be in two
Mm-hmm.
different sections, like, regardless of the
Right.
cut and the style and the fit and all that. It's
Correct.
like,
And that's the part
could
that
y'all,
yeah.
like, do better? But
Mm,
yeah, I guess, like, so I guess from that standpoint, in terms of like people observing how my symptoms were received, how much my ability to control or not control what people deem to be intentional or offensive or whatever, that was definitely impacted by gender. And I guess at this all this stuff that I'm saying is like being perceived as female, like,
mm,
so like, all through school, um like K through 12, um and yeah, just expectations, so not necessarily like, I think yeah, because there were more behavioral expectations. Um, my like I had to pare down
Mhm.
to not to like remove that constant barrage of negative.
Right.
So I would say like more than how it presented, it definitely impacted like how I carried it, I guess.
So sorry, to that point, this just made me think of something because I hate it when I hate it when white people tell me like, if the world were perfect, then we'd all be the same color and then it wouldn't be a problem, which
Okay,
is
so
very
yes, because I
different
didn't
than the
answer that.
conversation of like we are all the same like gender or we're
Right.
all, because I feel like that's something. So race, although is something that we have made, the differences we have not made. So like the differences in
Correct.
color and whatever we have not made. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. As far as gender is concerned, like those differences exist as far as like physiological body differences or hormonal differences. But I just wonder if like
Yeah. So
the
I
same
wouldn't
way
do away with the
supremacy is like
whole
problematic, like would
exactly.
you get away with that? I
Well, I
guess,
mean
you know.
patriarchy
Yeah. Hello. That
is the ghetto. It is the
yes,
source of the ghetto.
it's
But
trash.
I guess yeah, in terms of like because I was thinking about your question and I'm like, I mean,
Mm.
I guess like that would really solve a lot, but like
Also, it's
I
not
don't know how
realistic.
much of that
Yeah.
but I mean starting over is also not realistic. So, I was taking that with a
True.
grain of salt.
True.
But
Right. It's just like I felt
um
like that was one of those questions, and so I had to dig myself. You
well
didn't
no,
do it,
cuz
so I did it for me. I was like, Tara,
no,
that was
because
a
yeah, I
trash
was kind of
question.
falling into that corner of like, I don't know
Yeah.
that it's something that we can remove. I think it
Right.
just exists. But I
Right.
think like how, like, first of all, the fact that you want to categorize it, I think
Right.
is you don't have to. You simply
Right.
don't have to. And then if you do, understand from jump that it is a spectrum
Mm-hmm.
and not like a
Right. Don't think that just because
binary
you
or
see boobs
like
and
listen,
a
yes,
vagina that
yes.
somehow
I would
this means
say
I know everything about this person. Like that's
honestly, I would say feel like think about the demographics you want to collect for all the people
mm,
of the world and how much editing do you want to have to do over the next 2000 years.
right.
Start that way. And maybe that's the
Mhm.
ASD kicking in because I'm just like this is so inefficient. Like if y'all wouldn't have been so
Right.
close-minded, you
Literally
wouldn't have to
that.
complain about having to add
It's all
checks
just a way
boxes.
for people to make sense of things, and
Right.
so
Mm.
So I
we're at
think
this
just
point we're so
like
rigid.
yeah, like
Too
reconceptualize
rigid
what
now. Like
that
we haven't
category means. But
yeah.
like in terms of yeah, I just don't think it needs to. I think it can be acknowledged. Like it's clearly something that you'll get. Like it's more the energy of the person
Mm,
that you can sense regardless. It's like
right.
I don't know. I feel like when you're not certain if somebody is a stud and you're like, I feel like you're a stud. And like you have to wait for confirmation, like that energy,
It's you're giving it off. You're
that
giving
is the
off.
gender. Yeah, it's
You're
like
giving you're giving stud.
yeah.
That's what you're giving us. So there's
It's
that.
like, and it doesn't really matter what they have on. You're just like, but I feel like,
Right. But the vibe that I'm getting, I'm just
right.
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
not, but also maybe. I feel like I
Yeah.
fit that category to a degree just because like I've cut my hair, I wear certain things, but I also feel like I have very nuanced like ways of thinking of sexuality. And for me personally, I feel like the issue for me when it comes to just like sexual identification, I guess in the first place is like why do I have to do that? Like why that's such a
No, and so
personal
that is
thing
the
that
well,
I should not
or
have to
not.
define to you who I want to have like who I'm attracted to
Right.
or wanting to have a relationship with. Like that should not except to
Yeah.
Or
that
not have a
person, right?
relationship at
Like
all.
or not,
Well,
exactly, or not. Like all of that.
to your point, I'm just like, how much of this is necessary? Like, I feel like it's complicated because you
Yeah.
need, like, I would say you needed to know. You tried to get too much information, but also like, if you wanted to see somebody, it took you like 3 months to get there. So I don't know how much of that is a part of it, and
True.
like
Like the
what was necessary. But I know at this point, a
mm,
lot of that is no longer necessary.
right.
Just in terms of
Because it's
like,
so easy to figure things like, dude, you're
or
bugging.
just
Like,
to
and
not
we can like Right. Or exactly that. That's why I'm like, there's
I mean, they
like,
also did
I
not
almost
know
feel like
that
it's not
germs
really
cause
pointless to do this.
illness. So like,
That that doesn't mean that like not knowing these. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the knowledge is the part that's the problem. I
no,
think
it's
it's
the need to
when like
categorize
we
everything
right
incessantly.
and to put labels on things so that we can better understand them instead of just being like, no, I'm just going to take every human being
No,
as
but
they
that's,
come
I think
and like
that is,
allow them to be without me having to be like, you are also this. Like I can find that out as we go along because I'm just
so
engaging with you as a
I
person.
was gonna say you hit the nail on the head, which I don't think the goal ever was to understand. It was
Hello.
to rank.
That
So I think if we start over, just if we change
there you
that
go.
bit,
Might
a
need to
lot will
get
work out.
that that part. And I think that that's just the part where it's like I feel like at this point that's a level of cognitive dissonance that you are engaging in to say that we don't need to do that. Like to really feel like by labeling everyone, we would fix it all. It's so like clearly a part of that group that I'm just like, yeah, we get what's coming that
Mm.
way. So our question here, you had talked about pronouns. um how do they function for you in your self identity? It's, I guess it's kind of along the lines of, because we had kind of talked about this earlier today, just in understanding like language in general, obviously how it functions. Not everybody plays by the rules, right? So um is that something that is like very important to you when it comes to pronouns, or is it more like it's important depending on the person that I'm talking to, because I know like we have a different relationship or we have a different whatever, versus somebody who just met you or whatever, and it's just like I don't let everybody know my full name. I have a very long black name, amen, hey my very long. But you only calling me Tara because
No, I
that's
got
the name
you.
that you get to use, because you don't, you know what I mean? Like my friends or my family, like they can call me by the long Tara Kanikia. That's not my name, but you know, whatever. Look it up. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. Check me out. Tara Kanikia. Made that up. But I'm saying like that's a boundary almost. So I guess I'm just asking, like, is do pronouns kind of function for you as like a boundary kind of thing, or are they really like a way of affirming something that you feel within inside yourself that you feel like is not being acknowledged by other people?
Hmm. So I guess I wouldn't put those necessarily on two sides of the same number line.
Coin. Hmm.
Yeah. But I guess for me personally, because like I, well, okay. So I came out at 18. I'm
Mm.
30. Still haven't really transitioned because of uh, the traumatic environment that I thought I escaped and then didn't due to uh, unexpected financial burden that hit the family, and the FAFSA demands that you include your parents'
That
information
part.
until
Trash.
you're too old
25,
to
I think,
care.
or ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what? Why do I care then?
It's nuts.
So all that happened. So basically, um, like a part of my wanting to get out, like and leave and never come back, was prior to understanding that anything was different about the way I thought about gender or mine specifically.
Gotcha.
So you know, but I still felt very close to my family, so I kind of waited. So really, it's more like the people who know is kind of how pronouns function for me.
Mm.
Like, but like I haven't gone back to like retroactively start correcting people yet because one, they're all connected to that one, and also I'm tired and I just don't care. Like
Right.
also, um,
Mhm.
like I think one thing that like people don't like, I hear people getting really upset about people being forceful about pronoun stuff, and I get it because honestly, it's all in the delivery. It feels like people who feel entitled to take up room are the ones who are aggravating people, regardless of what the request is, and then it makes
Well,
the request a
hmm.
negative request by association.
Right.
But
You
that's
said it,
neither
I
here nor there.
did. Well,
Um,
come on now.
but I will say,
Yeah.
like, as someone, so not all trans people experience gender dysphoria, but like I did, so I fully understood people who were able to like, come out fully and then be like, and don't call me that shit ever again. Like, it's dead. Like, I did not have that ability, but I fully understood why people would be so adamant. But I can also understand, like, well, damn, like you just told me 5 minutes ago. Like, I'm
Right.
trying, I'm going. Like,
It's different if it's somebody you've
right,
been like wrestling with about this in the first place and they're already like just causing you problems from the
right,
beginning
right.
versus somebody who's just like, I just
Right.
learned
So yeah, it's
and
Right.
I
definitely
accidentally
that.
said.
And then also like being autistic and you know, neurochemistry or not neurochemistry, Lord Jesus, no. Neuropsychology
Mm,
basically being my special like one of my long lasting special interests. I know a whole lot now, like in terms of like the brain meat, whereas
mm,
before I knew more about like what happens.
mm-hmm.
Uh, so like I think part of what helped me with that angst is like understanding like literally it's hard for the brain to create new pathways when we've all been indoctrinated. Like it's literally
And like
cognitive
literally,
dissonance until
right,
you work the pathway.
right,
And so that helped too with like even people who I know mean well who get it wrong,
right.
it, like helps it hurt less. Because I've
Gotcha.
like
Like that, it's a little bit of grace, basically. But you ain't gonna
well
keep getting
it
grace
gives you
and
just
keep
enough room
listen.
to like understand that it's not personal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that.
Like
And
with or
I was
without
about to say,
grace.
do you feel like that also gives room for for like mindsets and things to grow, essentially, to like be able to do the work of like rewiring our
So I
brains to
feel
know?
like okay, so that's a good so I feel like I'm much less tolerant of philosophies catching up than I am of like literally your brain telling your mouth or like
Right.
associating those physical cues with that
Like a Freudian
thing
slip.
that means that
Mm,
word.
it's different.
And not like I can't understand. It's just I personally don't have the patience to wait. So like you can figure it
Correct.
out. But I feel
Yeah.
like in the meantime,
That feels like how we have to do with black people too. It's are a
it's
lot like black
exactly
people,
that.
like white
It's
supremacists.
exactly
Like,
that.
look,
Like
I
you
don't
don't
have
have
the
to
time to be
understand everything,
teaching
but
you.
like right,
Right.
what
The
you don't have to
bandwidth.
spit in my face in the meantime. Like it's
Right.
not either or.
I got
Like
you.
so you could
Yeah.
just
Like just
mind your
because you
business,
haven't,
say hi,
yeah, just because
and
you haven't done the work of like learning these things, or you're not even interested in it, doesn't mean you have the right to like disrespect me or to disrespect me and call it ignorance and
Right.
call it like
right,
a, yeah, I get
right.
that. And
So
I
like at
agree
this
with you
point, it's very much
1,000%.
like happy holidays or like yeah, it's just
Right.
like or Merry
That's what
Christmas
we
or
doing.
whatever it is. Like
Literally
whatever it
that.
is, I know that you were saying the thing, and so whatever that came out as, because I got places to go, people to see, and it's not you. Like
That
well,
part.
honestly, that's more how it feels. It's like if I know you're talking to me, because also my given name is
Mm.
East African for no reason. My last name is German Jewish. Also, well, that's because of slavery. But like, so none of my
That
names are pronounceable, and all from different cultures.
right.
And so like I'm used to just being like, yeah, I know you're talking to me because like we don't have time. We don't have time. Yes, I'm
Like
here.
right.
So I feel
We need
like
to
that
do the thing.
also
Oh
It
right.
takes
man.
too
Like
much
in the waiting
time.
room,
It
it's like
does.
here,
Yes.
it's me, it's fine.
Right.
Like give
Right.
me my
You
shot
know
so I
what?
can go.
When somebody say your name wrong, like Takachikuba, okay, you know what? I
Right,
know
right,
that
whatever.
I'm
It's
that
fine.
person because I'm the
It's
one that has the long name. I don't care. I've been here long enough. Just
correct.
give me my
So
services so I
like
can go
yeah, I
go
would
there.
say like moving like going to college, I was able to grow into myself a lot, and so like it was very painful to have to like reverse that moving back in.
Mm.
So I feel like
Yeah.
what
Being
helped me to survive that was basically to move to that kind of a mindset. Like, don't even think about it. It's just like you're being addressed. And then, if I tell people, cool. If I don't, whatever. If they pick up what I'm putting down without me having to say it, dope. But like, it gave space for me to not have to be depressed
the
every
police.
time
Be
just because of
the
syntax, because
pronoun
it's in every
police.
single
Right.
sentence.
I feel
And
that.
like also, ADHD, I don't have the executive function. Like,
Correct.
it's fine.
Right.
Keeping
That
up,
part.
right? I probably missed it, and you like because there have been times too that I've like talked to you, and I'm just going ahead and call myself out because I also, am learning about these different things with LGBTQ plus, especially because I did come from a very hyper religious background, and so, but I also like identify with a lot of these things, and I was just like, I'm not understanding, like you don't believe in homosexuals or hetero, or like all these different like versions of reality that we were literally seeing in our church that, oh, but he runs the choir. I'm not understanding what the problem is. Why
He's
is
right
it that
there.
he literally
That the I don't believe
plays on
in
the
and I
keyboard? Like,
don't
I know what I'm
agree
seeing and
with.
experiencing. Stop playing me. And it's like, mhm,
Well, this is just like the nerd in me, but I'm just like, how do you not agree? You don't agree with
do it.
what? Like, that's not the appropriate word.
Right.
You're a bigot,
That's
and
not right.
also
We're not
you're
asking for
bastardizing
your
English.
agreement.
Like, you pissed me off twice now,
That part.
and also probably you was gonna say
Correct.
something problematic on your way. Like, that was the whole point of the
Okay.
sentence. So now you done pissed me off 3 times. But
Right.
yeah, I think that just is like you're
But
saying.
then, like, the even worse of it is like a pastor being in the pulpit. You're supposed to be a person who is like watching over these people or whatever. Like, in any sense, taking a leadership role, right? What that means largely, whatever. But you take leadership role, and then you take that position to like use your platform to dehumanize people, and that's the piece that I'm just like, I can't get down with that though.
Right.
I can't get down with
Right.
that. So I largely, like, for that reason, I had to very much like back up off the actual church itself and recognize that, like, wait, there's a difference between what somebody says the Bible says or how they are using it out of context to make their little point or whatever
Mhm.
versus like what it actually says in context. And I really needed to figure that out because I was like, I know I can't, you can't tell me in one breath that I need to honor human beings because they are made in the image of God. But then when I see a human being made in the image of God that you have personal issues with, or not even like personal, it's not, that's what I'm saying. Really don't even got shit to do with you. That's the part that blows my mind. I'm like, it legit has nothing to do with you, bro. Like,
When you
what is
get down
still
to it, like that is the final boss, which is why the fuck are we talking about this at all? Like, why did you involve
right?
yourself? Why am I fighting with you?
Yeah.
But you said something that brought
Finding
me
reasons
back
to bring it
to
up. Which I
right.
think is like, I think
When
it's
you
a
were saying
jealousy issue. I think, to be honest, is like you are freer than I will ever be able to actually be, and not realizing like that is something that
that
you can have
entire
for yourself
argument
as
is
well.
lost on me, and not
Yeah.
like you, but like in general. Like, that's not
Mm.
like my brain does not allow me to understand that. Like, working with my therapist now, I understand that that is a thing that people feel. I have no idea what that's like to think those thoughts, but
Mm.
no, I was gonna say, when you're talking about like he's right there, he's directing the choir, like even before you
Yeah.
knew that homosexual was bad or even what it was, and that you were supposed to be
Right.
against it. I'm sure you could
Right.
identify that quality in that guy without thinking
Correct.
about who he's sleeping with or any of the other stuff that
Correct.
adults put on it, right? So to
None of this.
me,
I just was
that
like,
is
yeah.
more what I'm saying, like with the gender versus like how
Mm.
you style yourself or like your phenotype. It's like the energy that you get, that you can tell it's different even without putting
Like
a
it's
name to it.
feminine. Right. Or just understood.
Yeah. So
And
like I
that's the
think of
part I
it
think
more
is very
like
okay, so that's the part that's hard for me. Yeah. It's like labeling it feminine energy or masculine energy because I'm like, that is something that we have that almost feels like a stereotype at this point and not a real like phenotype
well
of the sense of like we're not necessarily talking about biology at this point. We're
right.
talking about like, oh, well, you tend to be more nurturing, more into your looks, like all these things, as if that is
Well, but
something
I'm
that
saying
is
even like okay,
solely
like
denoted to females. And I'm like, that's not,
no, no,
I don't
no.
know.
So I get
Yeah.
what you're saying, but I feel
Hmm.
like you're describing more like how people behave or present themselves or style themselves or like features. And like I'm saying, like, even as a kid sitting in the pews watching the choir director from the back, you can tell that he is whatever he is, regardless
Right.
of what he looks like when he turns around. It's just the
I
energy, it's the
gotcha.
whole vibe, right? So to
Yeah.
me,
Like
the
mannerisms
understanding,
almost, or like, is
or
that what you
even
mean? Sorry.
like, yeah, like it's like again, like the sum total of all of the things that we're taking data from that are
Mm,
subconscious that we don't even know that we're taking into
mm,
account. And it's just that, like, I think more a limitation of language that we have masculine and feminine, because they're like
mm.
sociologically those two concepts mean two different things. So it's not like
Right.
men and masculine go together. That's just the energy that
Right.
exists without you assigning it to something. It's just that people have assigned a
Gotcha.
default and then say that that's it.
Gotcha.
But like,
No, that makes perfect sense. If you divorce the terms, like if you divorce the masculine and feminine from like the gender piece, then that's when you
mhm,
kind of give it the space to now be a characteristic that can be present in various individuals at
right.
varying
That's what
degrees.
I'm
I
saying.
understand.
Like if you
Yeah.
see somebody who like, and I'll say like for pronouns and like speaking of the limitations of language and stuff, like
Mm,
if you speak to a stud, I don't know if this is just you or is this me. Let me know. If you see a stud and you say she
mhm.
and you're just like, that didn't feel right. Like that's technically correct, but like I feel like I've offended you. But now if I admit
Correct.
that I am offended, have I now offended you? Because I have now like,
Right.
so
Because you didn't say anything, but at the same time, I need to say something because I don't want to be like, I don't want you to take it in. I
right,
think
but
that part is like the hypervigilance piece for me, but I know that,
exactly. But it's like
yeah.
it's in those like those kinds of moments that like, even as a sheltered black kid, I recognize that like there should be another option, cuz like
Right.
I don't feel right saying he or she, but
Right.
like it's something. It almost felt like I remember feeling like I was misgendering people before I knew that was a thing that could be done.
Mm,
So,
yeah. Like legit though, because like I always even felt like they necessarily wasn't helpful just because they tends to feel like multiple people. Whereas like I feel like one person, but I just feel like I have different mixtures of like feminine and
well,
masculine
again,
presentation per se.
see,
Is
and
that
that's not even a limitation of language. That's a limitation of English in
mm,
particular, and it's
correct? Because that
ridiculous
one is the
turk
only one.
ducking
Right. If we
beginning.
Well, I
So
mean,
go
like,
into other languages.
like the use of like they as a singular isn't a
Mm,
new thing. So like
no, it's been
it's
around
just
since Shakespeare.
mhm.
But
yeah,
I'm saying, like, if
Yes.
we weren't borrowing from 3 to 4 different languages instead of
right, that
actually
part.
making a language of our own, figuring this
Right.
out would be much easier.
Be the right. You literally have because I was about to say I know that there are you're totally right about that. There are other cultures that have labels for a different like a third gender almost to where
Mhm.
like Indian certain native communities have like a term I think it's like a spirit something I forget what it's
So two
called but it's like
spirit
a
is like
don't make
an
me lie
umbrella term,
there's
but
American
yeah,
Indian people in there.
it basically,
Mm,
yeah. So they do have, and also like the subcontinent of India, both have historical, and
mm-hmm.
as do a lot of
Philippines,
cultures. Yep, and in Africa. So it's really
and I'm
just
about to
white
say in South
people.
America. Hmm.
It's
Yeah,
really just white people.
right.
So, but the term that you're talking about, two
Yeah,
spirit, is like a catch
two
all
spirit.
for
Yeah,
the various genders outside
in
of the
between.
two prescribed that Native people
Right,
have. So that's like their thing. So I
right,
can't really speak to that outside of a definition.
mhm,
And you got it, guys. But
right, right.
uh, but
There you
yeah.
go.
So like to me, I think of it more like it's not so like it's outside of the propaganda. It's more just
Mhm.
like and I know both y'all are music people, so hopefully this is a good analogy. But it's just like learning to train your ear to hear semitones, Like they've always been there. It's just that we
Right.
were not taught that
Right.
was its own thing. Like we were taught that
You get
that
taught
was
A B C D E F G, A B C D E F G. Got it. That's it. You don't get
right.
the in betweenies.
We weren't raised having enough buckets. And now that we
Mm.
know that there's more, we just have to create more
Right.
buckets. But also,
Expand.
y'all are the ones who had the buckets. Like we only need
Correct.
infinitely many buckets because you want to use buckets. And then
You
you're
wanted
mad at us.
buckets.
Right. Or we could just not
Correct.
have the buckets. And then everyone could exist and you don't have to keep creating buckets.
Oh man.
That's funny. No, I totally agree, and I liked it because, like you said, it's like we technically don't need pronouns if we just like
Some
did not need to
languages don't
categorize
have it,
people,
or only have
but
one.
because we have decided to do this, and then you have the nerve to
Right.
complain of like, I don't want to have to use all these
Right. It's
pronouns. Like
well,
we
I
don't
don't like
either,
you
bitch.
either.
Like we
Like-
do if you want to either.
Exactly.
Like, right.
Exactly.
I get
Exactly that.
You don't have to talk to me, okay?
Right.
Okay.
You can keep my name out your
All
mouth.
good.
Right. Well,
Listen, well, we're getting
exactly.
ready.
This looked like an A and B
this-
conversation anyhow.
Right. See your way out, homie. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to go into Hyperfocus before we bounce because it's literally getting late now. And conversation just been flowing, dude. Like, that's how it be. But
it is.
this last segment is just about what it means to kind of be a good ally / friend, which we've
Thank
already
you
kind
for
of like
being a friend.
largely right.
Yes, exactly. It has to be that one all the
Travel
time.
around
Yeah.
the world and back again.
Hey,
My
never
So
thought
from the
about it,
bottom,
now.
you know.
Oh,
Ooh yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Listen,
This is my
that's
part right here.
my thing.
Who really made it this song?
Jack it up. Come on now. That's it.
Oh my!
Yes, yes, you have to do that. Like that's the only version I know.
That's
That's the only version
it.
I will
Okay.
take.
Yeah, that man needs royalties for the rest
Well,
of
that's
his life.
perfect.
He really blessed us.
That's
as a community.
perfect,
There's some
'cause-
people that I'm like, you get a little stipend.
Listen. Right.
out of the
Well, I was just
reparations.
and it's perfect because we was gonna ask you, Zay, to end the show. Go ahead and take us home with an A and B selection. And but
we
you
did
know,
it.
you already done gave us that was an A right there. And I feel like B, first up when we started with maybe one meeting at the Crossroads. What was it? Gender. What's gender got to do?
Exactly. That's
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the A and the B.
Had to end it.
You are correct.
there you
You
go.
had to hit it. So on this note,
every time you
Zay,
say
can you
meet me
just
at the
kind of give us
Crossroads, I think about
Bone Thugs
Robert
and Harmony.
Johnson.
Oh no.
What?
bum, 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 bum.
Tell me what you gonna do.
Put it in the weather.
I like that we
Everybody,
both
you already know.
belonged
That's the
on
part.
to entirely different. Like,
Oh man, that part.
My bad, y'all.
Solid.
no,
nah.
listen.
So
I was not allowed to listen to them. Otherwise, maybe that would have been an option for me.
You know, I
know.
think there's
so
something
which
about
Crossroads was you
having.
think about?
Look, there's something about having my parents had me when they were teenagers, so like
Mm.
growing up with parents that were
I
like
don't do it because my parents were also old.
like they like their 20s was in the 90s, like their 20s, all that stuff. Right.
Oh yeah.
I'm jealous.
Man.
So like all that stuff.
Right.
Look, my dad
parents was
would
mine,
literally
so
roll
they
around
was
his
like the
car,
30s.
music blaring, could hear him down the block.
Mine's too.
And
My grandma, man, legit. The first time I ever heard the Clark sisters, she would ride down the street with the Clark sisters. You made my day. That thump is real, honey.
Okay.
Like
I mean, that'll
was like,
work.
Grandma, for
That'll
real?
work. I'll accept
You're
it.
in New
I'll
York.
accept it.
I'm not
Because I was just like,
okay.
diamonds in the top, sunroof
Right.
top, blasting Kirk Franklin. Like,
No.
what's happening here? But no, that I was
Right.
imagining
That thump
like
used
the
to hit.
full thing and like I've been looking for you. It's like, this
Right.
is-
Now, when I moved to Atlanta, that you could probably hear that more often. No, because when I was a little kid, it used to be like the only time you could hear it is if my dad had like on a CD by that point, or no, I think mostly CDs, because like a lot of black radio in my hometown was like non-existent. So like you couldn't hear R&B until like after 7 o'clock at night.
Right. 'cause
And I
that's
don't even think
after
you
understand.
ever
we get
heard like
dark.
any hip
The
hop
quiet
until
storm.
like
I
look,
feel like you
Quiet
just told me
storm.
a story about how the TV used to go off. I'm just like, I don't get
look.
it.
I promise you, like that's the whole thing. Like, it's a side note though, but like you couldn't hear R&B until after 7 p.m. and then like
Why?
the one because
Man.
radios weren't playing it. They weren't playing R&B until
Honestly, I think
midnight.
it's
Everybody
a
who played
southern
R&B
thing where
had
like
the
No, I'm
7
just
like
listening
even
to
in
Indiana.
Texas. Well, oh, okay, never mind. I was about to say because in Texas, like there's no like the liquor store isn't open on Sundays. The like
Oh,
they're very traditional in that way, and I'm like that's so like dumb. Like
I
I don't.
mean, we
So
gotta
it's
wait
7
till
o'clock
12:30
like
here in Georgia. So.
the Barry White
Right.
radio host
Mhm.
time slot. Okay.
But
Now we're
and
gonna
then
play
like
non-family friendly music featuring
and
Jodeci.
and then like the
Right.
one black station I remember as a little kid in the 90s, they played R&B, but it was like on an AM station, so like the frequency wasn't great. right, it was on an AM station.
I'm like, what is the point if I can't hear you every time we have to go under an
Look,
it's like
underpass?
super
I live
muffled.
in
It's
LA.
like
It's underpasses every 15 seconds. Like,
I mean, I guess because they thought because we in Indiana it's nothing but corns, we could probably get the airwaves through.
but I'm saying, do a beta rollout before you start
Okay,
assigning
something.
people channels on the AM.
Right.
It still don't
Come
work.
on.
It don't work
It
in
don't.
2022. They got
Correct.
It worked
XM
back in the
now.
90s.
Like, it
Right.
never worked.
It
Just
never worked.
take it off. Take it off. It was never good. You've
Oh,
aggravated
man.
me.
Right. Annoying song like and then you
Look.
hear it like if you hear that song, and usually it would be I know on the AM stations like where I used to stay, they used to always play like all gospel stations on there every now and again on Sundays. So then it's like you could hear
Look,
the mighty
AM
clouds of
radio
joy.
is
if I
literally
want to
the
listen to the
public
Tom
access
Joyner morning
channel
show, I don't
network.
want to have to listen to
The
all
Tom
the
Joyner morning show.
buzz that goes along with it. Like I want to be able to
Right.
hear the Tom Joyner morning show
I want to
clearly.
hear it. Okay. It's
But
the
I gotta
Tom
wait.
Joyner morning show.
Right, but
Boom.
I can't because it's on the AM station.
Right. It's muggy.
Segregation.
Exactly that.
Good
Look,
exactly that segregation. I'm dead. Right.
Yeah,
You ain't
no,
no
so,
AM standing for African
stop.
F is for free. That's why we ain't on FM. I'm dead. That's it.
I mean, you're not
all
too terribly wrong.
people. There you
But,
go. I'm saying.
Because I mean, it is the big companies who are ruining everyone's lives now, but parts of the radio wave, which is why they had to make AM because they had already bought it up, like they're trying to do for the metaverse before we can even get there, buying up all the properties that don't even exist. I don't understand it whatsoever. It aggravates me.
Right.
But
right. In your mind. In my mind.
right, so you're not wrong.
We're together.
There is racism, even in that. But like, what was I gonna say?
Look, we supposed to
I
let
don't know,
you
but it's
like
your
close
time.
us out
I don't
with final
know.
thoughts.
Hit it. Hit it with your thoughts. I'm getting quiet. Go.
I don't remember what was the point of the thread that we were on.
You know, I
So-
think at the end of the day, I was just asking, like, when it comes to those of us who do not identify as being a part of the LGBTQ plus community, like, do you have, like, basically, because I ain't gonna lie. So when I went to looking and trying to, like, research for this here episode, because I likes to be prepared, I kept seeing like these lists that was just like the top 10 ways to be a good ally to the LGBTQ plus community and all this other stuff. And it was just like, okay,
literally don't do that. None of those work. Not the
Thank
ones
you.
from
Like I
Muslim
said,
people,
but
black
like,
people.
that is not it.
like the way
the
like the
stick
way
and
that
shut
feel like
it's
that's not it.
presented and like the
Correct.
way that we
Which is why
talk
it was
about it
problematic.
is
Yeah.
like in media, like it's not a real thing. It's like you can't do the thing. You can't be the ally. There's no way.
I mean, it is that, but I'm saying like none of those things really. There's no way to really have that list Like it's always going to be wrong because
Right.
it will
It's always
depend
like
on.
listen, and I'm like, yeah,
Well,
but
okay,
if
okay,
you
but
don't
do you have
actually
to be
soak
told
it
to
in,
listen? I guess
then
if that's on the list, then
that part,
sure, yes.
that part.
I
I'm
mean,
a
yes,
sick
yes, because you.
human
So,
I
but that is just
guess.
like the
respect.
listen. You have to.
It's
You have to
on
Like, is
the
this the
list.
comprehend.
remedial version?
You
Right.
got like you couldn't even
I
just
hope
listen.
so.
You got to be able to comprehend. Because are you listening to respond or you listen to comprehend? You listen to understand.
Right.
Well, but that's okay. So basically, that you're underlying the point I was going to make, which is
Mm,
basically the only thing that really counts as allyship is developing empathy.
mm.
Um,
But that's
so
hard,
outs.
Zay.
Well, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
Gee,
I've been told.
apparently. Yeah.
My therapist has been trying to explain this to me for like 2.5 years. I'm just like, I don't understand why people just don't want to be nice to people.
Right.
It's so
I don't
easy.
get
You can
it.
just be nice.
I don't understand. Right. Literally that. So easy,
Um,
but so hard at the same time.
but yeah, so I think like, well, outside of just like listening, yeah, I think diversify your portfolio. You know, look at intersections. So like,
Right.
don't watch all slender influencer effeminate gay males who do makeup. Like, there are other types of people in the community. That's what I mean by
Inspire.
diversify your portfolio. You know,
Yes.
follow a
Of all sizes, all
non-binary
shapes,
Muslim
all beautiful
woman
colors,
in a
all of it.
wheelchair.
All
Perfect.
abilities.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
All
that's what I'm saying.
abilities
Like all the
spectrum.
intersections will just
Yeah.
give you a more full understanding of what it's like and what the challenges are so that you can show up adequately or like in a way that meets the need as opposed to like just being present and happy to be there. And both are good, both have a place, but like if you really want to be like, if you actually care, I would say just like, yeah, listen to more types of people so that you get a sense of
Mm.
how people are talking about it more than what words should I say or not say, because intention counts for a lot and people can hear it. So,
Hmm. Right. We're not crazy. We know
Mm,
we know how
and
you said
most
it.
people in the LGBTQ community do not understand how complicated language and linguistics and grammar are. So, you know,
mm.
That's true. That is a particular uh focus, hyper focus, if
yeah,
you will. That you either are in that or you're not. And if you're
yeah.
not, then you just
They
don't,
really
you're
need a
not in it
buddy.
like that.
They
Like
really
you're
need
not
a
worried about
buddy.
grammar
Now
the
that,
same way.
because it's like, okay, I get the concept that you are naming, but
Right.
how can we fit that into language? Like, let's figure that out ahead of time so that we don't have to be like all the like the person with which hitherto like trying to dance around it because of the ending or whatever. So
Hmm.
I'm saying you just need
I like that.
a linguist buddy along with the advocacy work.
Mm.
All right. So let's get ready
So
to
just say
wind
learning you gotta
down.
learn is what it boils to.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and wind it down. Go ahead, Ricky. I'm gonna let you take it away.
Okay. Well, all right. So that is it for tonight's show. So before we go, be sure to connect with us on
Yes.
all the socials. So we are on Facebook, Black Girls Hyperfocus. We're on Twitch. Follow us there. Subscribe. We're also on YouTube. Follow us there too. We're on Instagram. All those things. Also, really important. I should have typed this up so it could be on here. Is Linktree. Good grief, Linktree. I
Yes.
will next time we'll put in
Oh,
the.
I got you. I got you. I got you.
Can you do that? Oh
No,
yes.
but I can send it to you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we
I
find
could
that.
just it's gonna take me a minute to type it up for it to show up, but it's okay. So Linktree, so linktr.ee/ Black Girls HF, not AF, not S fuck, but HF as in
HL.
hyperfocus. Um, and y'all,
Yes.
cool story, but
I'm
we
probably
have a
change that
Patreon,
to there, but
huh? What was that?
yes. So basically I apologize. So my thing was like break for a little bit. No, I was saying Linktree is the spot if you want to link up to us, like straight up. All of our different platforms are available there, easy and convenient. So you all you have to do is just go straight to that website. Again, it's linktr.ee/blackgirlshf. And like I said, there's ways for you to become a part of our crew and our family. We're still working on Patreon that we hope to be able to release and be able to
Hello.
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened. But so yes, like she was saying, the Patreon. We're still working on that and putting that together. But if you once it goes live, you can go ahead and hey, support us because we have some cool things on the way.
Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay. I don't know what had happened,
I don't know, man.
but here we are. I don't know if y'all heard anything I said or when it paused, but
No.
there we are.
No.
But
Remember
Patreon on the
to.
way. And so be on the lookout for that. What's up, eh?
I was saying you said
Uh-oh.
remember to, and then you cut out.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember
No, but I finished the statement about the Patreon.
to
So
look out
it's
for our next
A-okay.
show.
Yes. Next
Oh,
episode
goodness,
is
getting all
Wednesday.
types of broke up. So now my system is acting up. I don't know if it's mine or y'all's, but here we are. Okay, there we go.
Yours.
Boom. Yes. Our next episode will be Wednesday, July the 6th is me. Okay, great. 2022. I don't know why I gave you the year, but you know, whatever. Just in case you was wondering, it's not
For
July 6th
posterity.
next year, okay?
For
It's
the
July
time
6th
capsule.
this year.
That'll be
Mm-hmm.
2022, whenever you're listening.
So make sure you join us. As far as the topic, we haven't decided on that just yet. So if
We'll let you
you
know when
would
we get
like
there.
to be able to let us know what you would like us to be talking about, or I'm just saying, if you want to give us some input, feel free to send us an email. You can just on Twitch. We have a little suggestion box. So you can drop your little suggestions in there, your big suggestions, your big suggestions. So that way we can make sure that we're talking around things that are specific to you. So all good. I'm done talking, but go for it.
All right, and also coming soon. Let me pull it up. Coming soon. We are going to be doing our self-care Saturdays on the third Saturday of the month. We were going to start them this past Saturday, but we figured that we give it a little bit more time to get our stuff together.
Well, we want to do it right.
We want to do it right.
That's the thing is we want to do it right, and we don't just. I mean, it's important. Here's the thing: there's not a lot that's available specifically for neurodivergent people. So when we are that, we want to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward and giving you our best. Now, we also are aware that we're neurodivergent as well, so we try to slow it down and be dragging our feet about it. Trust me, that's not what's going on at this point. We're just wanting to make sure that when we release it, it's something that you guys can just hop right into and feel welcome and at home and ready to get going, ready to get hyped straight up.
Right. So also with that, we'll do Black Girl Body Doubling sessions, and then soon we'll do our ADHD and Black awareness campaign, i.e., neurodiversity is normal. Ooh yeah,
that's
dang.
right.
See, she's gonna
we need to let y'all know what's
have me
going
doing that
on.
too now.
Listen, my husband is doing it and my child's doing it. Everybody does it. It's a Casey and JoJo reference because like when they do it in the song, I was just like, what is that? That's how you know it's a Casey and JoJo. Oh, there you go.
Oh, is that their tag?
No, it's I don't know. It's like a thing, but it's like it's not just Casey and JoJo. Like a lot of like R&B guy groups do that back then.
R&B in general.
Yeah.
So that's what we be doing now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's not unique because the women on some of Ray Charles songs, I'm just like, what was that? Like you wanted vocables there. I'm like, then it makes sense.
Extra vocals.
Nothing to do with
put that in there. Put that in there. It need to be in there. Did you put the ooh yeah in there? Did you put the
no,
ooh?
He literally has a song.
It ain't an R&B song, so you got it in there.
Yes,
and
nothing. And
look,
he had the audacity
to make a part 2.
This is it. Right here.
Yeah.
This is us right here.
There you go. Straight up.
Right. Oh
Also,
man.
Stevie Wonder's fingertips.
Stop
For
it.
real.
This is
Um,
us. This is who we have always been. I love
Well,
us for
in
real.
the flesh. In the flesh. For real.
well, okay, so thanks for joining us, everyone. Can't wait for you guys to join our hype crew and
Yes.
join us on our next episode. So see you next time with Black Girls Hyperfocus.
Ooh, that scared me.
I know, I love it so much. It's so great. We'll see you.
Like the most innocent jump scare. I was just like, oh.
Not next Wednesday, the next.
The
That's right.
next Wednesday. All right, y'all. Good night.
That's right.
Thank you, Zay.
Peace
Indeed.
out.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
for having being on our
being had.
we really
You're welcome.
enjoyed you. Y'all have a great night. Yes.
Deuces. Bye.